3, 2, 1.
Young and the Restless fans, welcome back to the channel, and grab your oat milk vanilla lattes just like Holden, and settle in because Genoa City was serving drama, deception, and a healthy dose of Phyllis-induced chaos. I'm going to give you a few highlights and then we'll dive into this episode. First, we have Audra and Amy's heart-to-heart. We have Phyllis versus the Sharon verdict, Jack, Kyle, and Victor's vendetta. And then we got a body double because we have Holden stepping in for the real Damien. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and unpack this episode in Genoa City for February 3rd. So we start off with Audra, ever the thoughtful queen, bringing Nate his oat milk vanilla latte and even grab one for his brother, assuming that he shares Nate's sophisticated taste. Well, surprise, surprise, Damian is a tea guy. Red flag, maybe. Audra gracefully exits, leaving the two of them to talk. But just as Nate started explaining why he summoned him, Damian, or the so-called Damian, got his arms crossed and his foot tapping. He's already suspecting that there is no job offer, and when Nate brings up Amy, Damian, shall we say Holden, nopes right out of there, storming off like he's got better places to be. Meanwhile, over at Crimson Lights, Audra and Amy are having a much-needed girl chat. Now, Amy needs a distraction, so she turns the convo to Audra's family. Big mistake. Well, maybe. Audra, usually a vault when it comes to personal matters, actually opens up, revealing her father was a drinker and her mother was emotionally checked out, leaving a very young Audra to act out just to get attention. Now, Amy, ever the sage, points out that kids need to be told that they're enough, and something both Audra and Damian struggle with. Do I detect a parallel? Audra thanks Amy for her kindness, but let's be real, Audra's a self-made powerhouse who had to rely on herself. The question is, will she let Nate into her heart? Nate then later returns with an update. So-called Damian was not receptive. Shocker. Amy starts spiraling, worried that her son is slipping through her fingers. However, little does she know that her real son, Damian, is planning to keep playing the long game. But we'll talk about that next. So little does Nate or anyone know that the man that he just spoke to wasn't even Damian. Plot twist. We later find Holden meeting with the real Damian, played by Jermaine Rivers, who's less than thrilled about Amy trying to reach out. But let's talk about that latte scene, because the detail that Damian drinks the same fancy latte as Nate is giving foreshadowing, and I'm intrigued. So now over at Society, Daniel and Summer drops a huge bomb that Sharon has been exonerated. And Phyllis, oh yeah, she's not having it. In classic Red fashion, she jumps out that chair practically foaming at the mouth. Sharon is going to have another corpse on her hand because the only way that she's going to get away with this is over my dead body. Iconic. Daniel, trying to be the voice of reason, get her to sit her butt down, which is a miracle of the day, and explain that Ian confessed before dying. Phyllis still is not buying it. And honestly, I love her for it. The fact that Sharon's confession was only heard by her quote-unquote enablers has Phyllis throwing up red flags. But Daniel, he's over it. He wants to move on and focus on their future, specifically their new business venture. Enter Billy with money and a vision. Be afraid. Billy wants to start a media empire and needs Daniel and Phyllis on board. Phyllis is in immediately because drama and power are her two favorite things. But Daniel, he's skeptical. And when Billy casually drops that Jack is funding their little empire, Daniel's radar start flashing red, as it should, because when has Billy Abbott's scheme ever gone smoothly? Back at the Abbott mansion, Kyle is brooding and Jack assumes it's about work. Nope. It's about Claire. he is smitten. But Diane, yeah, she's worried because Victor Newman will never let this relationship slide. Meanwhile, over at the ranch, Victor is back home and is not in the mood for company, especially when that said company is none other than Jack Abbott. Yes, Jack, the concerned friend of Nikki Newman. Checking on Nikki. Victor is in full post-bullet grumpiness and he wastes no time snapping and saying, "What the hell are you doing here?" Jack being Jack, keep his cool, but Victor not so much. He straight up tells Jack to keep Kyle away from Claire. Victor's reasoning, because I don't like it. Ah, yes, classic Newman logic. And of course, Victoria is protesting, saying that Claire's feelings should matter, but Victor is not convinced. Once his kids leave, Nikki gently asks why he's so against the two. Victor sighs deeply, practically gripping his pearls, and admits that he despises the Abbotts and won't stop until Claire feels the same. And at this point, maybe we need to just prepare for Victor to go full-on mafia mode on Kyle. We know that war is coming. And finally, when Jack gets home, he and Diane update each other about what happened with the Newmans. She explained that she just warned Kyle that Victor will interfere in that relationship. And Jack confirmed that's exactly what Victor intends to do. However, he refuses to let Victor come after their son again. Okay, so there you have it. Today's episode had everything: mistaken identity, long-lost family drama, and a fiery Phyllis meltdown, and Victor being petty as ever. Let's get the conversation started down in the comment section. Will Phyllis actually drop her vendetta against Sharon? Will Victor succeed in keeping Kyle and Claire apart? And how long until Nate figures out that Damian isn't actually Damian? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video is posted. And until next time, stay messy, stay dramatic, and never trust a Billy Abbott business plan. We'll see you all soon. Bye, Soapies.